Welcome back to Audio Lingo English, the podcast where we help you speak English naturally, confidently, and just like a real person. I'm Emma.
And I'm Alex. And if you are listening to this right now, first of all, thank you. Seriously, it means a lot that you chose us today.
Now, before we get into today's topic, I want you to do something. If you are learning English and you want to actually use it in real life, not just pass a test, not just memorize grammar rules, but actually speak, then hit that follow button right now. Because what we do here at Audio Lingo English is different. We talk, we have real conversations, and you learn by listening.
Exactly. And today's episode is one of my favorites because we're talking about something every single person does every single day without even thinking about it.
Your daily routine.
Yes, how to talk about your daily routine in English. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. You're thinking, okay, Emma, Alex, come on, my daily routine? That sounds boring. That sounds like the first lesson of every English textbook ever written.
Right? Wake up, brush teeth, go to school, page 1.
Exactly. And here's the truth. Most people think talking about their routine is simple, easy, basic. But then the moment someone actually asks them in English, so what does your typical day look like? They freeze.
They completely freeze.
Total blank. And it is not because they don't know English. It's because nobody ever taught them how to talk about real life in a natural way. There's a huge gap between textbook English and real conversation English.
And that gap, that's what we're here to close. So today, Alex and I are going to have a real conversation about our daily routines. You're going to hear natural phrases, real expressions, the kind of English that native speakers actually use. Not, I wake up at 7 o'clock and then I eat my breakfast.
Please, no. Nobody talks like that.
Nobody. So let's just jump in. Alex, tell me about your mornings. What does your day actually look like?
Okay, so honestly, my mornings are a little chaotic.
Really?
Yeah, so I usually wake up around 6:30, but, and this is embarrassing, I don't actually get out of bed until like 7:15.
The snooze button.
The snooze button is my worst enemy and my best friend at the same time. I hit it at least twice, sometimes 3 times if it was a rough night.
Okay, so listeners, did you catch that phrase? Alex said if it was a rough night. Now in English, when you say you had a rough night, it means it was a difficult night. Maybe you couldn't sleep well, maybe you were stressed, maybe you stayed up too late. It's a really natural expression. You can also say a rough day, a rough week, very common.
Yes, and another thing I said, I don't actually get out of bed. Notice I didn't say I don't get out of bed. I said I don't actually get out of bed. That word actually in spoken English adds emphasis. It makes it sound more natural, more real.
It's one of those little words that makes a huge difference. Okay, so after you finally drag yourself out of bed at 7:15...
Ha! Drag yourself out of bed, that's another great one.
Right? When you drag yourself out of bed, it means it takes a lot of effort. Like your body does not want to move, but you force yourself. I drag myself out of bed every Monday morning, I'll be honest.
Honestly, same. Okay, so after I get up, I go straight to the kitchen. I don't check my phone first. I know a lot of people do that, but I make coffee before anything else. Like, I need coffee before I can even be a human being.
Okay, I love that. Before I can even be a human being. That's such a real thing to say. It's a little bit of humor, a little bit of exaggeration, and it's very relatable. A lot of people feel that way in the morning.
And in English, we use that kind of exaggeration all the time in conversation. We're not lying, we're just being expressive. I was so tired I could sleep for 100 years. I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. These are called hyperboles, but you don't need to remember that word. You just need to know it's normal, it's natural. Do it.
Use it. Okay, so here's something I want our listeners to really pay attention to. Alex just described his morning using very simple past tense and present tense. He said, I wake up, I hit the snooze button, I make coffee, all present simple because this is his routine, something he does regularly.
Right. And when you talk about your daily routine, you use the present simple tense. I wake up. I eat breakfast. I leave the house. Not I am waking up. That's for something happening right now in this moment. Your routine, present simple.
This is one of the most common mistakes we hear. So let's keep going. Alex, what happens after the coffee?
Okay, so after coffee, I usually have about 30 minutes before I need to start work. So I try to do something that sets a good tone for the day. Sometimes I go for a short walk. Sometimes I sit and read something just for like 15 or 20 minutes. Nothing too intense.
Oh, I like that phrase. Sets a good tone. Can you explain that one?
Yeah, so when something sets a good tone for the day, it means it puts you in the right mood, the right mindset to handle whatever comes next. context. Like, if you start your morning rushed and stressed, that stress kind of follows you. But if you have a calm, intentional morning, you carry that energy into the rest of your day.
That's actually something I've really noticed in my own life. I used to, and this is kind of a confession, I used to wake up and immediately start responding to messages, like before I even got out of bed. Emails, texts, everything.
Oh no.
Yes, and I thought I was being productive. I thought I was getting ahead of my day, but actually what I was doing was starting every single morning in a state of reaction. Someone else's urgency was the first thing I felt every morning, and it took me a really long time to realize how much that was affecting me.
That's really interesting, and honestly, a lot of people do that without realizing it. Your phone becomes the first thing you interact with, and suddenly your whole morning is just responding, reacting, consuming.
Exactly. So now I have a rule. No phone for the first 30 minutes. It sounds small, but it genuinely changed how I feel at the start of every day.
See, and that right there, Emma just told a mini story. She gave us a problem, she gave us what she used to do, she gave us the moment she realized something was wrong, and then she gave us the solution. That is storytelling. And in English conversation, storytelling is everything. It's what makes people listen. It's what makes you memorable.
When someone asks you, so what do you do in the mornings? You could say, I wake up, I shower, I eat breakfast. And technically that is a correct answer.
Boring, but correct.
Very boring, but yes, correct. Or you could say, honestly, my mornings were a mess for the longest time until I stopped checking my phone first. Now I actually look forward to waking up. Which one makes you want to keep listening?
The second one every time. Because there's a story, there's a journey, there's a before and after.
And this works for any level of English. You don't need perfect grammar to tell a story. You need a beginning, a middle, and something that changed.
Okay, so now I want to hear about your afternoons, Emma, because I have a theory about you.
Uh-oh. What theory?
I think you are one of those people who hits a wall in the afternoon.
Oh, okay. You know me too well.
Ha! So tell us.
Okay, yes, I'll admit it. Around 2 or 3 in the afternoon, I hit a wall. Every single day.
Listeners, hit a wall. Tell them what that means.
Right. So when you hit a wall, it means you suddenly run out of energy or motivation. Like everything was going fine, and then suddenly, wall. You can't focus, you feel sluggish, you just want to close your eyes for 5 minutes.
Which sometimes turns into 20 minutes.
Which sometimes, yes, okay, sometimes turns into 20 minutes. And I used to feel guilty about this. I used to think something was wrong with me. Like, why can't I just push through? Why does my brain just stop working at 2 p.m.?
And then you learned.
And then I learned that this is actually completely normal. There's a natural dip in energy levels in the early afternoon for most people. It's biological. It happens. The problem isn't that you feel tired. The problem is that we live in a world where you're expected to be at 100% from 9 to 5 without stopping.
And so what do you do now when you hit that wall?
Now I don't fight it. I work with it. I take a short break, 15 minutes, 20 max. I step away from whatever I'm doing. I get some water, maybe a snack, sometimes just a little walk around the room. And when I come back, I'm actually useful again.
It's interesting, right? Because so many people think that being productive means never stopping. But sometimes the pause is what makes the rest of the day actually work.
Completely. And I think this is something that comes up a lot when people talk about their routines in English. They want to sound impressive. They want to say they're busy, they're productive, they're always doing something. But the most interesting conversations, the ones people actually remember, are the honest ones.
That's true. Nobody connects with perfect. People connect with real.
Okay, let's talk about evenings, because I feel like this is where people really differ. Some people are totally done by 6 p.m. Others come alive at night.
Oh, I am definitely a night person. Like something happens around 8 or 9 p.m. where I just get this second wind.
Great phrase.
Yeah, a second wind is when you get a new burst of energy after feeling tired. Like you thought you were done for the day, and then suddenly you feel awake again. And for me, that's honestly when I do some of my best thinking. I'll read, I'll journal sometimes, I'll watch something interesting. I like my evenings to feel intentional, not just like I'm waiting to fall asleep.
I'm the opposite. I wind down pretty early. By 9 p.m., I'm in wind down mode.
Wind down mode? Explain that one.
Wind down means you're gradually slowing things down, preparing your body and mind for rest. So I'll dim the lights, I'll stop looking at screens, or I try to. I'll make chamomile tea, maybe read something light. I'm basically telling my brain, okay, the day is done. We're going to sleep now.
And listeners, think about that phrase, wind down. The opposite is wind up. If something winds you up, it makes you more tense or excited. If you wind down, you're relaxing, slowing your pace. These are phrasal verbs, and they come up constantly in everyday English.
Constantly. Write them down. Wind up, wind down, hit a wall, get a second wind, drag yourself out of bed. These are the phrases that will make you sound natural.
Not, I experience fatigue in the afternoon hours. Nobody says that.
Please, nobody. Okay, so here's something I want to do. I want to give our listeners a little challenge because learning isn't just listening, it's doing.
Yes, I love this.
Here's the challenge. Think about your own daily routine, and I want you to pick one moment, just one that is unique to you. Something that isn't in every textbook. Maybe you have a weird habit in the morning, maybe you have a ritual before you sleep, maybe there's something about your afternoon that nobody else does.
And then try to describe it out loud in English, not written, out loud, because that's where the real practice happens. Your brain needs to work in real time the same way it would in an actual conversation.
And use the phrases we talked about today. I usually, I tend to, every single day, I can't function without, it took me a long time to realize. All of these are real, natural English. They belong in your vocabulary.
And if you want to share it with us, we genuinely love hearing from our listeners. It's one of the things that makes this community so special.
It really is. Okay, Alex, last question before we wrap up. If you could give someone learning English just one piece of advice about talking about their daily routine, just one, what would it be?
Just one, that's hard. Okay, I would say stop trying to sound perfect. Stop filtering yourself before you even speak. The goal isn't to sound like a textbook. The goal is to be understood and to connect. And connection, real connection, only happens when you're honest. When you say, my mornings are a little chaotic, instead of, I wake up at 7 a.m. Let your personality come through the language.
I love that. And mine would be listen to how people actually talk, not just in textbooks, not just